right? The 1 o'clock slated games are over, so let's talk a little bit about this 17-14 loss to the New England Patriots. I mean, overall, all things considered, not the worst loss that could have happened, because holding New England 17 points is not bad. There were some fluke instances like Gunnar Olszewski muffing a punt deep in Steelers territory that basically gave away 3 points. There are just things like that that happen that won't happen every week. So losing 17-14 is not the worst, at least from a special teams and defensive perspective. And I was worried about our defense, considering we don't have T.J. Watt, obviously. And you don't have Watt, that allows offensive lines to focus a lot more on Cam Hayward, allows them to focus a lot more on Alex Highsmith, and eliminates a lot of the pass rush. And we did see that to some extent. New England's offensive line performed very well. Mac Jones wasn't under pressure very often. Cam Hayward didn't really have much of an impact in this game compared to what he usually does. Alex Highsmith, who was a beast last game, didn't have a sack in this one. So we've seen a little bit of that impact of losing T.J. Watt already. And of course, you lose, besides just him drawing extra help, you lose all the production he brings to the table as well. So we saw a little bit of that. Minkah Fitzpatrick had a pretty good game, an interception, obviously. So back-to-back weeks to interception. It's great to see him coming off of a rough year last season, coming out and performing very well early on in the season. So I'm still pretty hopeful for this defense. I think the linebacker level kind of is what it is. I'm never going to be too happy about it. I'm not going to be too happy about the inside run defense, even though Cameron Hayward is a beast in there. It's just, as a whole, not going to be really where we want it to be as a team. But hey, overall, you kind of got to live with it. Cameron Sutton dropped an interception, was really a killer for us. Again, that's a play that's not going to happen every week. He's going to make that play a lot of times. But him dropping it up, what should have been an easy interception late in the game, really killed our chances of winning that one. But you can't really pin it all on that. It's Gunnar Olszewski fumbling deep in our own territory, muffing a punt, I should say. It's all these things just kind of piling up. It's the offensive line not being able to run block, not being able to pass block. It's really, we can just call it having a bad offensive line in general. That really limits Najee Harris's impact on the game. It's Mitchell Trubisky being our quarterback. It's Matt Canada being our play callers. All these things contribute to Pittsburgh losing these kind of games. And through 2 weeks, it's quite obvious that Canada should not be back to the play caller next year at this point, just based on the 2-week sample size. Now, if Kenny Pickett comes in, or if Trubisky improves and things just change and the play calling opens up, then yeah, I'll reconsider. But as of right now, what has Matt Canada done to make me think he's going to be a confident play caller at any point in his time in Pittsburgh? Nothing. I mean, he really should not be here next year if it continues to look like this. And granted, he's not been given a lot of pieces. I'm sorry, looking at Red Zone over here a little bit. But it's not like he's been given the pieces to succeed. As I said, they have a bad offensive line. They have a bad quarterback situation. Really, the only consistent pieces we can count on right now are Deontay Johnson, who, by the way, has been making some really spectacular catches recently. I know the social media things to say, Deontay Johnson even drops the power passes, but he's really been making some great highlight reel catches recently. So shout out to Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris, I still like quite a bit. Even though he's not really a bursty athlete, he's still a really good running back who can play in the slot, can catch the pass, catch balls out of the backfield. Pat Freiermuth, I like quite a bit. Those are 3 offensive playmakers I think we can really build our core around. And obviously, Chase Claypool, not my favorite dude in the offense, considering some of the issues he's had. Still a fairly good player. And think about what we can get eventually out of some of the rookies we have this year, including George Pickens. You're hopeful with those pieces. But the offensive line in general, you maybe have 1 guy or 2 guys on the whole offensive line who would be considered average starters, and that's about it. So the offensive line in general needs to be overhauled. Quarterback room, we don't know what Kenny Pickett is yet, but we know what Mitchell Trubisky is, and we know what Mason Rudolph is. And neither of them are NFL starters. It's that clear. So not like Matt Canada's been given a really good shot at succeeding in his job, but also the play calling is just so obvious, so bland, and the offense just doesn't work well. It doesn't. You know, the defense constantly gives Pittsburgh's offense, and this goes back to last year too, gives Pittsburgh's offense these premier opportunities, and the Steelers just flounder to them all left and right. So I think at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of people in the coaching staff who probably deserve some blame for what's going on here, but Matt Canada in general is going to take the brunt of it because he's the guy you can fire. I don't want to fire Mike Tomlin. I want to fire Matt Canada if I can avoid it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I expect to see Kenny Pickett probably week 5 or 6 at this point. Trubisky clearly is not any better than when he was in Chicago at all. So I think we'll see Kenny Pickett sooner rather than later, because at this point you're not going to learn anything about Mitchell Trubisky. You're not going to develop him. He's not an NFL starting caliber quarterback. And frankly, I mean, if this is how the offense is going to play all year long, I mean, still have a couple more weeks without TJ Watt, and who knows, even when he comes back, he'll be 100% healthy. We're probably not going to win many games. You know? I mean, maybe the Browns next week because Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback, but they just scored 30-something points this week. Our offenses can't score more than 30 points. We can't. I'm not sure we can score 30 points in the game, frankly. We had 5 turnovers against Cincinnati, and we got 23 points, and that was with overtime. So we can't score 30 points in a week. And the Jets and Browns just did that, and those are our next 2 opponents. Then we get the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Dolphins that just went crazy this day. I don't want to see Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle versus our corners. That's not something I want to see. I don't know how many games we're going to win this year. We'll pull through because of our defense, I think, especially when TJ Watt comes back and if he is 100%. But frankly, the way the offense is playing, this is not going to be a playoff caliber year. I mean, we're not going to beat these guys. And if we do, even get the 7th seed, we're the final wild card, we're going to get smacked around in round 1 because we can't score more than 20 points in regulation. So that's kind of where I'm at with the team right now. The defense is still solid. Some flukes in this loss. We could easily have won this game. And hopefully those issues will be ironed out in future weeks. But as of right now, I still like the defense, even without TJ Watt. It's not going to be an elite defensive unit. It's still going to be a solid unit without Watt, especially because of Minkah Fitzpatrick. Hopefully Cameron Hayward will have a little bit more of an impact in future weeks. Same with Alex Highsmith. But the offense, like I said, outside of Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool every now and then, I don't have much hope for this team.